Imagine not hating social media and using social media as a tool to earn business deals that you didn't think were made possible with people you wouldn't have otherwise had a chance to meet. The power of leveraging social media to scale your business is real, and I'm here to show you how and break it down step by step so you can reach your goals faster. What you do need is a strategy. My name is Libby Rothschild. I'm the founder of Dietitian Boss. I created a proprietary process called the Dietitian Boss method that walks you through from 0 to 6 figures all the way up until 7 figures so that you can start and grow a private practice online and make the money that you intend to make while working less hours in your business. And I show you exactly how step by step. So make sure to stay tuned and subscribe to our channel, and then make sure to watch out every Tuesday for new videos that we upload that walk you through how to start and grow a successful dietitian private practice. The first tip for expert level social selling is perhaps a little bit obvious, and that's to look and feel your best. You want to show your face online regularly, and I role model that every single day on Instagram. And the reason that you want to show up regularly and show your face is so that you can build trust among your audience or your potential clients so that they can start to know, like, and trust you. And people are more likely to buy from people that they know, like, and trust. So you want to add a human element to your brand. In fact, in my business Dietitian Boss, I have a whole campaign where I use the hashtag show your face, and I tell registered dietitians who are current or potential business owners to use that hashtag so they can start to get comfortable showing up. And I know this can feel very vulnerable. And the more you do it, the more people are likely to want to purchase your product or your service. It really works. And I don't mean that you have to look like an influencer. People relate with a lot of different personality types, body sizes, and ethnicities. What's more important than how you look is that you're showing up. Now, I've got a lot of clients that admit that they're moms that work and live from home, and they don't always feel like getting ready, and they don't love wearing makeup on most days, and that's totally okay. What's more important than how you look is being authentic with your personality and feeling comfortable. And to feel comfortable, you just got to be yourself. And people see that. People can read when you're being authentic and when you're being fake. And so the more you show up, the more authentic you can be if you show your face and build that trust. So if you're comfortable wearing your hair up, wearing your hair down, wearing a certain color, wearing a certain lipstick shade, by all means, do what feels natural and comfortable to you. And if you're not sure, experiment with things as you're building your confidence and growing your comfort level. And, you'll get some feedback from your audience. And just keep in mind that you can evolve. Who you are today isn't who you'll be in a year from now. And people care a lot less about the things you care about. Maybe, how exactly you look. People just want to know that you're a human who can help solve their problem. Remember, the business owners stay in business if you solve a problem, and that matters more than the shade of lipstick that you do or choose not to wear. So this might sound obvious, but you want to build your credibility. So for whatever you've achieved that resonates with your audience, you want to make sure you're sharing that. So if you've built $1 million business, by all means, talk about it. Talk about the successes and the milestones that you've achieved, and share how you've done it and the lessons that you've learned. And for bonus points, show your face as you're sharing these stories, because then people are going to feel more connected to you, and they're going to feel really connected to the stories that you share. If you've helped people achieve a certain outcome, whether it be health or wealth or whatever, problem you solve in your business, you want to make sure you're regularly talking about that with different examples, and you're honing in on those pain points, right? The underlying issues that your target market struggles with on a daily basis. Now, assuming you're already using social media, you want to make sure that you're tracking your efforts. What is working and what's not working? And if you can identify what's working in terms of engagement and reach on social media, then you can repeat and recreate elements of what has worked so that you can double down on the results that you've gotten and aim to get more consistent results and better results in the future. So if you're just aimlessly going on social media and you're not looking at your insights and you're not aware of what type of content or what elements of your brand are sticking, it's going to be a lot longer of a process for you. So remember the law of 80-20 in business. 80% of your efforts come from 20% of your inputs. And you want to analyze what are the top 20% of inputs that you make on a regular basis that are yielding more of the results, and only focus on those 20% of the efforts that are getting you most of the results so that you can get better results the next time around. And that strategy is overlooked by so many of you. So again, look at what's working, analyze and double down on the strategies that are getting you positive, inputs from your community. Now, if you're an industry leader in whatever space, let's just say, for example, that you're working in the chronic disease space. Maybe you're working in diabetes, for example. If that is your expert position is diabetes, then you want to make sure that you are understanding regular conversations that are being discussed, bills that are being passed, and you want to make sure you're engaging in those conversations. Who are the industry leaders? What are they saying? What's updated evidence that's changing with research papers? And then how is your opinion being seen and heard in context of what's happening? And that can also be the same for supply chain or any other issue depending on your industry. So you want to make sure that you are relevant in your industry, and then you're talking about things that are happening, and that's going to gain you some traction. And keep in mind that these conversations are being discussed on social media every day. So if you look up hashtag supply chain or the other example, diabetes, people are talking about current events and happenings in research studies and papers. And so you want to be going on social, on TikTok, on Instagram, and finding these conversations and what people are saying, and looking and studying at the comments and looking for relevant conversations and interactions around hot topics in your industry. You want to find your prospects. Now, I get a lot of pushback in my business for this. A lot of our clients, they don't do this enough, or they resist finding prospects. So it is your job as a business owner, and if not you, someone from your team has to regularly be talking to people in your market, right? Your demographic, those who you intend to serve on a regular basis, building relationships, talking about struggles, updates, and news and current events. You need to be engaging in conversations with people in your industry. You need to be engaging with people who are the potential clients and customers that would purchase your product or service. How do you do this? Well, in olden times, people got together and went to conferences and had in-person lunches. You can still do that, and that's a great idea. You also can leverage social media. So you can, hook up with coffee chats. You can start direct messaging people that you see could be potential customers, and engaging in comments and threads on social, and making sure that you are identifying when you reach someone who's a potential customer, you're asking them questions about their pains and frustrations. Let's go back to the diabetes example. If you're in the diabetes space, let's just say you're a physician, right? And you've got a practice helping people manage their diabetes. And you've found people who have high A1Cs and they need to manage their diabetes. And just bear with me for this example. If you can approach and discuss with them, why aren't they managing their A1C? What's going on? What medications, if any, are they on? What kind of care do they have, if any? Where is the support lacking? You want to be relevant and understanding what your customers want and need. And this is not a one and done. This is not something that you do sometimes. This is something you need to be doing every week in your business. And I see that a lot of our clients and a lot of business owners don't do this enough. And again, as I said earlier, if you're not doing it, someone on your team's got to do it. Every business that stays in business is familiar and aware of their customers' needs and pains and the changes and evolutions of what your customers' needs and pains are. And that goes the same for potential customers and current customers, right? Talk to your people. Expert level selling requires that you're constantly adding value. What does that mean? You're having conversations about things that people are struggling with, about topics and pains and frustrations. You're adding tips and tricks and tactics. You're also sharing stories. You're talking about client testimonials. We'll go back to when we discussed industry research earlier, industry leaders and industry research. You are sharing quotes and statistics. Like I always talk in my first business, Dietitian Boss, I talk about the statistics that only 8% of registered dietitians own a business, and dietitians collectively make an annual salary of $65,000, which is pretty low considering the education we're required. And there's a disconnect between the high level of education we're mandated to complete to be eligible to sit in for our examination, yet we're paid so low in a 9-to-5 job, and the average salaries are around $30 an hour, right? Or $65,000 annually. And so because of that disconnect, I created my first business, Dietitian Boss, to support and create more private practice operators, since only or less than 8% of dietitians own a business. I talk about that all the time. And I also talk about trends in the industry and updates and things that happen. Guidelines now have a new master's mandate, so that dietitians are required to have even more education than they were before. And these are discussions that I regularly have. And I employ you to have the discussions as well in your market with what are the happenings, what's going on, what are the changes in midst of COVID. And if you can be relevant and on trend and talk to people and understand their pains, you'll have a better chance of staying relevant. And you also don't want to hold all of your knowledge and secrets to yourself. You want to share your best practices to people. And remember, if you're scared about sharing information that should be behind a paywall, keep in mind that a lot of people are not action takers. They are consumers. They will consume your information and they will be happy to collect information from a lot of different people, but they're not yet going to take action. And so you want your brand to attract people who are going to take action, knowing that even if you give away some of your best tips and tricks, people aren't necessarily going to take action until they pay, right? Because when people pay, they pay more attention. Nurturing your prospects is really important. And, depending on how long your sales cycle is with your potential clients, keep in mind that not everybody buys the first time and people need more than 7 touch points before they do decide to buy. So it's really common that you're nurturing someone who might buy, but they might buy later, maybe within 6 months, maybe within 12 months. And so you want to have some type of a simple system to keep people top of mind, so that you can circle back and see if they found solutions to their problems in the future. And so if you build those relationships and you maintain relationships through time, you'll see that it might be a longer sales cycle, but nurturing those relationships with potential clients. There's 2 pieces to keep in mind with people who don't buy right away. Firstly, you can always ask somebody who's not ready to buy what type of content you can create that would support them with their needs at this time. Because if they're not ready to pay, but you can help provide them with some temporary relief in your free content, you want to be able to support that, assuming that their problem is related to what you sell in your service or product. The other idea would be to also nurture these relationships. So with time, you want to have touch points. Remember, it can take about 7 touch points or more for somebody to buy. So if you can keep a simple list, whether you're using a project management system or however you're organizing your data and information, if you can keep track of who this potential customer is and then reach back out to them and have some type of a protocol or a follow-up process, you might be able to still acquire that lead. It might just take a little bit longer than you had intended. Building relationships, not dropping the ball by making sure you're following up, and also asking said person how you can provide value to them now through your free content are all great ways for you to do your diligence when you have someone who's not ready yet to hand over their hard-earned cash. One of the most overlooked tips when it comes to expert selling is that social media is a platform for connection. So of course, there's great opportunity for you to sell leveraging Instagram, but you also have to think about the relationship, right? So you want to focus on relationships and building connection and supporting people, listening to them, right? Activating your listening skills and finding out what are the problems that they have? What if they tried that hasn't worked? How can you guide them or direct them and support them? And the more you can focus on building relationships, relationship skills, and communication skills, you will have a far better chance of making an impact and having people want to work with you. And if they don't want to work with you right now, they're going to keep you top of mind, maybe refer you to their friends, or think of you when they are ready to shell out their hard-earned cash. Building relationships is extremely underrated, and it's a huge component to any successful business owner's success. I haven't met yet a business owner who's a 7-figure business owner or who's scaled their business beyond 7 figures who hasn't prioritized relationships in some capacity. So I want to leave you with this. If you first focus on relationships and solving problems, and then you focus on following up and not necessarily being so eager to make the sale right now, but being more eager about what that person's problem is and how you can provide support that meets them with where they're at right now, you will have a much better chance of creating a better relationship and a longer, more sustainable business model and a longer, more sustainable business mindset. If you found this video helpful, I want you to check out my next video that talks all about Reels and using Reels to attract attention from potential customers so that you can get more people interested in buying your products or services so that you can scale your business.